Sharon Box is renowned globally for her work for knowing when people are lying or telling the truth. And as a behavioural analyst, Sharon, like many millions of Australians, have been watching Anthony Albanese go from pre-election into post-election and the change in his communication skills. And joining us today again is Sharon to tell us what she thinks has been happening. Good morning, Sharon.
Morning, Michael. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Always great to have you. Now, I've noticed a huge shift in our new Prime Minister's handling of the press corps. Has this been just a matter of confidence, a matter of being able to relax now that he's got the job for the next 3 years? Or has it just been some astute training?
I think it's been a combination of all those things, Michael. So leading up to the election was very high stress, very high stake. And now that he's in the position of, being the top dog, so to speak, a lot of that stress would have subsided. So he would have had a lot of cortisol in his body, which causes nervousness and anxiety. And we would see a lot of, nerves and sort of behaviour that's probably not really his baseline because of the nerves. But with a lot of that stress gone, I mean, obviously there's still stress and there's still anxiety in that very high pressure role, but he can now settle into the role because he doesn't have to prove anything anymore. He's got the job. The expectation is he's now going to deliver. So he's going to be focused on that. But I think it's a combination of he's now in the role. He's got the confidence because he's been voted by the public. He would have had some coaching. And I think dealing with the media as well has had a big role in that as well. So he's learned from his lessons how to better deal with the media. So that would be adding to his confidence as well.
Now, as a leader, being more in control like this does a lot for his credibility, I imagine.
Exactly. So what we're seeing in the early days with his body language, we used to see this sort of shimmying and a lot of movement of his shoulders when he was speaking. And also he used to gesture, I've mentioned this before, he used to gesture quite high and sort of doing this, which when we gesture sort of above here, we don't believe people. So his gestures have been brought down. He's very, very controlled with his body now. He's got a very powerful stance. He's almost sort of looking a bit like Scott Morrison in some of his body language. But yeah, you can just see the shift in his body language, even the way he speaks. So he's speaking a lot slower, emphasis on certain words and making eye contact a lot better. And that's all because of confidence. So we've seen that big shift there.
Now, he's also pulled the press pack into line, or have they fallen into line because of this new communication style with his confidence and his controlling of the room?
Yeah, so with the press pack, I mean, we've all seen it on TV how ruthless and how sort of demanding they can be with their jostling, and they speak over the top of each other. So their behaviour has been quite incredible to witness and almost bullying at times. In fact, they've been called out for sort of their bullish and sort of ridiculous behaviour at times. So I think the press have realised, okay, let's take a step back. Let's remember what being a journalist is all about, getting information, not all this sort of theatrics and so forth. So there was a lot of bad behaviour, I think, from the press, which wasn't very becoming for their profession. But I think that's calmed down now. So I think they've definitely been pulled into line, and Anthony Albanese has definitely made that very clear with how he's addressed them. So he's caught them out very early, told them to settle down, and hopefully that will take heed.
Great. It's nearly a parenting masterclass, Sharon.
Yes, I mean, even our Premier here in WA made some comments that were splashed all over the media about the press. So no doubt a lot of them will be thinking just how they're behaving themselves. So yeah, it's been an interesting time, but I think campaigns make people do crazy things, and it's all about who can speak the loudest, but sometimes that can backfire.
How much of it plays into the fact too now that Albanese, the Prime Minister, I don't mean to be disrespectful, our new Prime Minister would have been thinking, or would he have been thinking, I don't want to get them offside so that they will attack, because I really need them to put a favourable spin on what I'm saying? And does that actually encourage the media to go harder on him, or would he have been better off holding his ground and being firm as he is now?
Michael, I think what he's done, I think he had to do. He had to stop this, I guess, almost bullying and jostling behaviour, because it was, unless something was said, that might have continued. That, you know, the constant hounding, trying to catch him out. So I think it was necessary for him to do that. Also, just to he needs them, as you say, but he also needs to put across that he is the leader now. He's the PM, and show some respect for someone in my position, and just really have a look at your own behaviour. And I think a lot of the press have realised that. So, but he definitely needs them. So, but I think if you come across in a respectful way and you treat them with respect, and just make it clear about, you know, how you want things to go forward. And I don't think the demands he made of them was anything unreasonable. He was just basically saying, stop yelling, otherwise I won't talk to you. So I think that was a great call.
Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves is when values are visited rather than lived, and they become transactional. I'll treat you with respect only when you treat me with respect. It gets us nowhere. Lessons in this for other leaders and communicators. Sharon, what would be your takeaways from this?
Yeah, so look, I think this whole, I think the whole country, I don't think we've ever been so obsessed and sort of interested in politics than ever before. I know myself is included there. So, but we've seen a lot of theatrics play out from both the media, the candidates, everyone involved in the campaigns and the election, and a lot of the news readers and commentators. So I think everybody collectively has all sort of been very passionate at times, and maybe sort of seen a lot of the behaviour in themselves that they might not have realised that they had. So I think sometimes these things, they do bring out the worst in people. And we've seen that with all the name calling, you know, which is just, it's not helpful, all the name calling and attacking characters of each other. So we saw a lot of that from both parties. So I think they'll be the PM will now be reflecting on that as well. And, you know, he's now representing the country, so he can't afford to be seen as, you know, attacking people's character. He's got a really serious job to do, representing the country. So he needs to be really aware of that.
And whether we voted for him or not, we should all be barracking for him to succeed, because if Prime Minister Albanese doesn't succeed, then we all lose. So it's just, let's give him a go would be my advice.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, we're a democratic country. The majority of the people have voted. This is what we've voted. So whichever side that you're on, we have to accept it and move forward. And yeah, let's just, you know, have faith that he will deliver a lot of what he's promised. And of course, things change. You know, international factors come into play. So, but I think he did speak from the heart, and you could see that emotion that he had during the campaign. So I think he really does want to do his best, and he'll be trying to do that.
Great. All right, Sharon Box, our behavioural analyst and expert on the Informer. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Michael.